Hi, guys. Hope you're doing well today. It's Fred and Sheila with Hatfield, McCoy Museum Adventures and Fred and Sheila Investigates.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. This video here is going to be just a little bit different. I don't want nobody to take it the wrong way.
Okay.
It's not really meant to be a certain way. It's just meant I'm going to put it out there. And I
Okay.
guess just take it as you want. There is no right or wrong way. I don't think I'm reading into anything. And guys, on this Buford Pusser deal, Sheila and we've always been people that took up for
Hmm.
people that couldn't take up for themselves. Don't ask us why. We've just always, both of us have been like that.
Yeah.
From Sheila in kindergarten to taking up with kids that was bullied,
Yeah.
and me as a police officer, and the same thing. Um, I don't even like to see bad guys handcuffed and beat up, even though they're bad guys and probably done some bad things. It's just not the way it's supposed to be. Don't ask me why we're like that, but we are. Even in our Hatfield McCoy
Hmm.
videos, if you'll go back and look, there was a Hatfield that said his grandfather, he come up here in 2011 after right before the miniseries came out on the Hatfields and McCoys, and he said that his grandfather, who was the police chief in Matewan, West Virginia, was shot in the back 3 times by a McCoy that was in a brothel, and he was mad because he got interrupted, and he shot the police chief 3 times in the back, and the police chief turned around, and shot, and killed him, and he was a McCoy. He told the Washington Post that. He told all kinds of different newspapers and magazines and famous authors, and they got that out. And that story went like wildfire. It was everywhere. His grandfather, the police chief, was shot in the back 3 times and didn't even go to the hospital. Didn't even. I may go down later on and get the bullets taken out. He said he was never shot. He was never shot once, much less 3 times. The McCoy that he shot and killed was
I don't.
Hubert Bay McCoy. He was unarmed. He was a World War II hero. Went into the Army after they bombed Pearl Harbor,
Hmm.
came back to Matewan, West Virginia with his bride that he brought from Europe, along with his 6-month-old daughter, who's now in her 80s, probably, a friend of ours. And this guy, Rio Hatfield, rich guy, well known, well to do, all the power in the world, somewhat like what I'm going to talk about today. Today I'm on Mr. Davidson. But what does people need? If you've got money, you've got clout, you've got power, why do we have to make somebody else look bad to make ourselves look good? Sheila and I were contacted about that case and said, would you all look into this? And we did. And we started looking into it. We found out it was totally opposite. In fact, the police chief was charged with murder the year before. He'd done killed one guy the year before that was unarmed and shot and killed him.
Hmm.
He got off from that one because his deputy didn't show up for court to testify against him. He shoots and kills Hubert Bay McCoy February the 17th, 1947, the next year, and he's arrested and charged with murder again. Only this time the jury convicted him. They sentenced him to 5 years hard labor. Now, this historian, so called, says he's a historian and, in fact, gives information to the Pike County Tourism, but he didn't know that his grandfather, over 200 articles that we have, newspaper articles that we have, that was written at the time, the feud's going to restart. You can go to our Hatfield McCoy videos, just go to our library and go way up through there, and you'll find Rio Hatfield or Hubert Bay McCoy. We wrote 2 books on it. Don't have no books for sale, but we did write them. What makes people do that? They don't need money. They don't need nothing in the world. It's just same way with Buford Pusser. I don't know Mr. Mark Davidson. I don't know him. Sheila's not even in this. Sheila's here for technical to do my stuff for me. Sheila doesn't like it when I do videos like this, and I don't dislike Mr. Mark Davidson. I don't know Mr. Mark Davidson. From the Hatfields and McCoys, especially the West Virginia Hatfields, and researching them throughout the years and seeing the narcissist personalities and attitudes and the narcissistic things that they did, in my opinion, I can see that in Mr. Davidson's demeanor. And once again, why we have to make one person look bad for us to look good, I don't know. My dad always said, Fred, you never have to make somebody else look bad for you to look good. Work harder and do your best, but you don't have to. And I think that's what we've got here. This is my video. I don't mean nothing by it personal, but these guys personally attacked a dead man. I'm sorry. They attacked a dead man that can't defend himself. I don't know how many times we've said it in our videos. Sheila and I, Sergeant Alvin York is our hero from Tennessee.
Yes.
It's never been
Yes.
Buford Pusser. He's never been a foe. I thought he was a decent lawman. I know from researching now, he's never been convicted of a crime in his career. Oh, they can start rumors and they can say he took bribes, he done this, he done that. It's not out there. The evidence is not there. They can say that about Mr. Davidson later on when he's dead. The evidence is not there on Buford Pusser. So they can say what they want, but you got to follow the evidence. Guys, what if this was you? What if this was you that somebody was, or your dad, or your uncle, or your brother, that somebody was talking about like this? Oh, we could get an indictment. An indictment is not a conviction. They could have got an indictment back in 1967. They could have got an indictment then. You can indict anybody. It was rumors, guys. It started off as rumors, and it went on as rumors for a while till Warren Jones faded away, and it disappeared for years and years and years until Mike Elam, Mr. Mike Elam, come on the scene. And in order to start a podcast and get a niche, everybody needs a niche to go by. Now, Sheila and I we'll get off this eventually. Eventually, we'll get off the Buford Pusser thing, just like we do everything else that we've done throughout, and we'll move on to something else. Mike Elam never got off. He found him a niche, and he stuck with it for the last 20 years. He went through Helen and Carl. He went through Buford and Pauline. He went through poor old Dewana. And he thought he was through when Dewana was either, when something happened to Dewana and she's no longer with us, then he got real brave and cocky and he really started throwing it out there. He's throwing it out now because he thought everybody was gone. It's over with. There's nobody else. Dewana's it. And then stepped up Madison. And here steps up, we think, is going to be Eric Vance, Mike's son. Sheila's going to throw a paper up here and we're just going to look over it together. I like things with proof, truth with proof. I'm not making none of this stuff up. This is not made up. Go ahead and put it up there. And you can just put it in between us there whenever it comes up, but that's fine for now, as long as they can read it.
I think they can.
Guys, this says 25th, Tennessee 25th Judicial District. District Attorney General Mark Davidson. Top line, second from the top. There's the address. Media advisory. New developments. Now, this is the media release that Mark Davidson sent out prior to him and Mr. David Roush holding their now famous press conference.
Okay. So this is back in August?
August the 29th is when this was going to be held.
Okay.
So they put this out. I got this from Mark Davidson's Facebook page. Go to Mark Davidson's Facebook page. He did have live on his Facebook page the press conference. He had it there for a long time till I brought it up in one of the videos and he took it down. I guess it didn't look proper, an attorney general, and we're sitting there saying it was nothing but media. It was nothing but notoriety, fame, fortune, and name notoriety, name recognition. Build your name up by putting somebody else's name down, just like they did with Hubert Bay McCoy when Rio Hatfield said that his grandfather was shot in the back. Hubert Bay McCoy was unarmed and shot in the back of the head. Never,
Mhm.
never shot nobody, much less police chief. Same way with this. New developments. What are they? What are the new developments? The new developments were that Mike Elam and Ricky Plunk got together, concocted a story that this gun that they had, and it very possibly could have, came from uh,
Pete
O'Neill
O'Neill.
O'Neill
Oh, oh.
Moffett.
Mhm.
O'Neill Moffett, not Jim Moffett, Jim Moffat's son. New developments. The new development was that Ricky Plunk
Mm.
and Mike Elam come out and said they had a gun that was stolen, supposedly stolen from the military. And Ricky had heard stories from his father, and he had this gun all these years
Mhm.
that he thought this gun was stolen. One of the guns that uh, O'Neill Moffett stole,
Mhm.
and a gun that possibly used in the ambush. What's Ricky Plunk doing with it? P.D. Plunk's son has a gun that's supposed to be connected to the ambush and possibly O'Neill Moffett. He doesn't call 911, he calls Mike Elam. Now, this is a new development. New developments in the murder case of Pauline Mullins Husser. Now, they want to throw Mullins in there. They want to throw that Mullins because they need that Mullins name in order to get Griffin Mullins, her brother, to get permission to dig her up. Her elderly brother that didn't even get along, but we're going to do a video on that to dig her up. Now, he'll tell you later on that the Pusser and Mullins family agreed. No, no, the Pusser family didn't agree. The Vance family didn't agree. So that's not true. But the new development was this gun. And that gave them permission, along with Griffin, to dig her up and see if there were some bullets in her head that they could compare to this gun. You got to understand that at this point, the TBI, David Roush, and the TBI and Mr. Davidson knows the evidence has been lost. There is no evidence, guys. There's no clothing, there's no shoes, there's no blood samples, there's no spent casings, there's no projectiles that were taken out of the car. There's nothing like that. There's nothing to compare from 1967 to this gun that they found. Because, see, I think if there was, I think if they could have found those casings, I think those casings would have probably matched up. With P.D. Plunk giving that gun to his son and telling him that something's going on with this gun, or implying to him, or ever how Ricky and Mike Elam worked it out, I think there's something to deal with that gun, don't you, babe?
Hmm. There's definitely something going
So
on
we
with
think
that.
the new developments would have been there had the TBI not lost the evidence. They lost the file. 1976 was the last time anybody seen that file, the original
Mhm.
file on Buford Pusser. Now,
Right.
they may have made another one up throughout the years. The original file was missing from 76, and they were still looking for it in 1983.
Right.
Guys, this gun had nothing to compare to. There was no bullets in her head, and the
Mm-mm.
TBIs lost the casings. Why hasn't these guys been charged with theft or possession of the stolen gun? They still, Mike Elam made videos and said the gun was stolen. This would be a question for Mr. Davidson, the general. He likes to be called General Mark Davidson. Generals are in the military. This is the Attorney General. This is a position. Attorney General. It's a position. Generals are related to the military. I've never seen anything where Mr. Davidson was a general in the Marine Corps, the Army, the Navy. The Navy has admirals. 58 years after her death. That's called a clue. That's called a clue. 58 years after her death. What? It's a joint press conference. Now, again, I got this off Mr. Davidson's Facebook page. By the way, Mr. Davidson, one of his followers that he follows on Facebook is Mr. Mike Elam.
Mhm.
Mr. Mike Elam, Attorney General of the state of Tennessee, follows a man that, even in his book, he says fictional, fictional. He covers himself to make sure he's covered and puts fictional as far as his book. Friday, August the 29th. That's a date that will live in infamy as far as Buford Pusser relatives and families. And just like August the 12th of
Mhm.
67,
Yeah.
August the 29th of 2025, Buford Pusser was raped of his reputation. Buford Pusser was assaulted in about as, in my opinion, guys, giving you my opinion, in about as bad a way as a person could be assaulted. Because all a man's got, especially when he dies, is his name and his reputation that he had when he was alive. You can't go back and prepare and repair it once you're dead.
Damage is done
If
too.
you done something while you were alive and found guilty of it and convicted of it and all that, you can't go back and fix it because it's there. But if you don't have a conviction, if you don't have nothing but rumors from people that you took to jail and people that hated your guts because you were a lawman, a good lawman, and they started rumors on you, and then after you're dead, somebody takes those rumors and acts like they're the truth, and they've got a position of power and authority. General Mark Davidson, 25th Judicial District of Tennessee, and Director David Roush, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, and they're going to have a press conference. Credentials. Media only with photo ID. Credentialed. You have to be credentialed to get into this press release. You had to get into this news conference. You had to be a noted media personality with professional ID, with photo ID. See, they didn't want to be taking questions from Fred McCoy. They didn't want to take questions from some of these people on these Facebook pages that want the truth, not because we're Buford Pusser fans, simply because some people out there actually want the truth with proof. Media only with photo ID. Mike Elam was there. Dennis, huh?
Good point.
Dennis Hadcock was there. NBC News, CBS, CNN. They'd probably qualify to work for those news agencies, but they're not connected to the news media. Why is that? Why is certain people allowed in and certain others were not? Media outlets are advised to arrive at 10:45 to get set up and all that. This press conference will begin promptly at 11 a.m. It will be streamed live on General Davison's Facebook page, bandwidth permitting. It will be broadcast live on my Facebook page. Go look at. I feel you, baby. You're right. You're right, guys. I say I don't have nothing, and I don't personally. I can't understand how a professional person like this can do that, except a lot like Mike Elam. I saw a picture on his Facebook page while I was there, and you see these guys heads over heels like me. I'm a small fella. I'm 5'7". I don't know how tall Mr. Davidson is, but everybody there was head taller than him. Is it little man syndrome? Is it Napoleon syndrome? If you've ever had Psychology 101, you would think. I'm not a smart man, but I did go to school a little bit on the GI Bill, after I got out of the Marine Corps to collect my college benefits. Psychology 101 tell you about Napoleon syndrome and little man syndrome. I've always tried to make sure I steered away from that, made sure I didn't get that in some way because it's insulting to have it. But I think Mike Elam and Mr. Davidson may have a touch of it, in my opinion, may have a case of it. It's just my opinion. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. Additional evidence has been made public for the first time, revealing significant details in the murder of Pauline Mullins Pusser on August 12, 67. Additional evidence, guys. What is the additional evidence? Is it the gun? There's nothing to compare the gun to. Is it the autopsy? There's nothing in the autopsy. There was no bullets to compare to the gun. Now they go on and say, well, it was the same type gun, same caliber gun, the same type, M1, 30 caliber, 6.2 million of them made. Wasn't even that killed her. It was a high velocity round, according to the 30 cal M1 is not a high velocity round. So that's not the round that even killed her, a M1. New evidence. Nothing in the autopsy other than she's had a fractured nose at some time in her life. They dug her up to compare her bullets in her to the gun because they've lost their bullets. They've lost their casings. So they were hoping they were fishing and they were hoping they were going to have some bullets in there to compare. There was nothing there. But while they were there, somebody says, oh, look here, she's had a fractured nose at some point in life. Okay, let's go with that. Daggone, this is a domestic. Mike Elam said that Moffat said she was beat up 3 days before. Mike Elam says that in his book or on his podcast that she was beat up 3 days before. Let's just go with the broke nose. Yeah, Davison says, yeah, she had a healing broke nose. If you go back and watch the video we did, the anthropologist, the specialist, the expert, not in law, in the human anatomy, in bones, she says that well healed, a well healed nasal fracture could have been from years ago. Well healed means it's healed. Not healing, as Mr. Davidson says, which in my opinion is very deceiving for a prosecutor to take a well healed statement and call it a healing nasal fracture. It's not the same thing at all. It's not even near the same thing. It's my opinion. I'm not a lawyer neither. I'm none of these things that you would expect for me to be talking. I'm common sense. I'm talking as common sense, and I'm talking as an investigator of 40 years and a pretty good detector from being in the Marine Corps of BS. I can detect when somebody's BS. I was watching this, just channel surfing on the internet, and hear this come up, and I'm seeing this guy and Roush talk, and I'm thinking, these can't be prosecutors. This is a comedy. This is not right. Because you could just see the deceit. Was the gun compared to the autopsy? See the report. See the report. You could just see, or I could, in my opinion. What I've got marked here, the next line down there, it says General Mark Davidson. Look at the yellow line there. So what we got so far? 2 times, 3 times. So 3 times, and we're not even a quarter of the page down, and we've got Mark Davidson's name. 25th Judicial Prosecutor. He's got new evidence. It's and now it's going to be on his Facebook page. If you want to watch it, go to his Facebook page and you can see it. To announce court findings, court filings, and discuss the evidence that has helped bring closure to the Mullins family nearly 6 decades after her murder. 6 decades, guys. 60 years. 60 years later, 58 to be exact, to bring closure to her murder. It ain't got no more closure than it had August the 26th, the day before they held the press conference. It ain't got no more closure than it had on August the 12th. That's a word. That's a paragraph. That's a sentence that's written into history, hoping and praying that the public would have bought it and said, wow, look at this. Look what these guys come up with. It was long reported that Mullins Pusser was shot and killed in an ambush meant for her husband, McNairy County Sheriff Buford Pusser. She was in a vehicle driven by the sheriff on a rural county road near the Tennessee-Mississippi line when she was shot. Mullins Pusser died. Mullins Pusser? Justice for Pauline? But we don't even put Pauline's first name. We want to make sure we get Mullins because that's her brother that gave permission to dig her up. And that's Mullins. That's his picture that's going to be up there in a minute on the screen where he's saying, I didn't know that happened back then, all this and that. Really? We're going to do a video of a picture of the Mullins, the last picture they were together in that we could find. We'll do a video on that because we like proof with truth with proof. We'll do a video and let's see. Let's see why he didn't know none of this was going on. First of all, he didn't know what was going on because it wasn't going on. And second of all, because him and his sister didn't see eye to eye. But we'll get into that after a while in the next video. Mullins Pusser died from her wounds. The sheriff survived his injuries. He's shot 2 to 3 times in his jaw and cheek and chin. Mullins Pusser's murder. Mullins Pusser's murder. Justice for Pauline, but Mullins Pusser's murder remained a cold case for decades. And in 2023, TBI publicly asked for tips, which resulted in a new lead. No, they can tell you that. But in 2020, Mike Elam started going with his podcast live and all these and started going to the TBI and asking them to open. It wasn't until then that they brought the gun out. How long did Mike Elam and Ricky Plunk have this gun? Well, Ricky Plunk's had it all his life. His dad had it. I don't know what year Ricky Plunk was born in, but the shooting, the ambush was in 1967. Now, Mike Elam and them want to say that Buford called P.D. Plunk, said, go get the gun out of the trunk of my car. That's written in the history. That's spoken in the history by Mike Elam. If that gun come from O'Neill Moffett from the military, one of the 6 that he stole, M1s that he stole from the U.S. Air Force and ultimately went to court over, then that gun is the one that PD gave to Ricky Plunk, and he kept all the years. Never notifying nobody that this could be a stolen gun, or this is a stolen gun. Never notifying nobody that maybe this gun was used in the ambush. Now he's raised questions on my part as to how did P.D. Plunk, what kind of deputy was he? What kind of loyalties did he actually have to Buford Pusser? Was P.D. Plunk actually involved in the assassination of Pauline Pusser? Was he involved in some way? Did he, they say money's a powerful thing. They said Buford was getting $1,400 a month from this and $1,000 from that. And then he goes out and kills Louise. Why would you do that? Why would you kill your money bags? You want them. But Ricky Plunk certainly raised questions on his family name. First, we've got Mike Elam saying that Levon heard a shot in the house, had been out drinking with Pauline all night before Buford got home, bar hopping. Yep, she's killed the very next morning. Autopsy shows coffee. Her and Buford had a cup of coffee before they left to go on this complaint. No alcohol. Mike Elam says she's bar hopping. Mike Elam's who the TBI listened to. That's who they took that's their witness. That's their main witness. I know that's hard for you to
Mhm.
believe. It's hard for me to believe, but the more we look at it, the more we realize it. It's true. Remained a cold case, and they started asking for new tips with permission from her family. With permission from her family, from Pauline's family, from granddaughters, grandsons. No, no, from a brother that didn't even, from what we understand, didn't even get along with Pauline for the
Wow.
last 4 or 5 years of her life with Buford
Yeah.
because Buford and him didn't get along due to Mullins Pusser's husband's reputation, whose life story inspired. Now here's your this is from Mark Davidson
Mhm.
because the same thing is what Mark Davidson tells you up there, who inspired the movie Walking Tall in 1973. What does the movie Walking Tall have to do with somebody killing Mullins Pusser? Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Pauline Pusser. What does Walking Tall movie have to do with what does several sequels to that movie was made, and even another one starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You start mentioning Johnson, Rock, Buford Pusser, you get all these Walking Tall, you get all them key words out there together. Google any of them. Watch Mark Davidson come up. David Roush. What's his name? Come up now. All you got to do is connect Mark Davidson, keyword, with Dwayne The Rock, with Walking Tall, with whoever else there, Buford Pusser. You can't Google Buford Pusser, Walking Tall, Dwayne The Rock. You can't Google none of them without Mark Davidson's names coming up. I know this is drug out, guys. I'm sorry. Like I said, I make these videos. They're out there. They'll be out there forevermore, just like our Hatfield McCoy videos. So when these people, hopefully, when they run for reelection, probably won't have a bit of bearing on it, but at least you can take this into consideration and wonder to yourself, what kind of person is this? Is this somebody I want to vote for again? Pauline Mullins Pusser is survived by her brother Griffin Mullins, who is who will be delivering a video statement at a press conference. Her family has asked for privacy from the media. Pauline Mullins Pusser is survived by her brother, Griffin Mullins, who will be delivering a video statement and press conference. Her family has asked for privacy from the media. Her family didn't even know they was digging her up, guys. Her own grandchildren didn't know they were digging her up. Her own grandchildren's parents, some of them, were dug up when they dug Pauline up. We did a video on it because they had taken Diane's ashes and Michael's ashes and they had buried them on top of the mother down in the ground.
Yep.
When they dug her up without informing any of the family, they're calling up and say, hey, they're digging up grandma. What do you mean? Mom and dad's on top of her. What are you talking about? They never even checked with the Pusser family. The Pusser family requests privacy. They don't want you talking to the Pusser family. Leave the Pusser family out of it because the Pusser family, the Vance family, may have something negative to say about Mr. How many times? I didn't count. I lost count. How many times is Mr. Davidson's name's mentioned in this press conference? I've lost count. How many times? Go ahead, babe. You got anything?
Well, sorry, guys.
Take your time.
The only thing that I can say is, to me, now there's more questions than answers on everything. There's nothing's been cleared, and it's just
No, no, nothing's
it's
cleared. Nothing's cleared except um, demoralizing,
yeah,
defaming Buford Pusser's name and his legend.
yeah.
Nothing has changed except stealing Buford Pusser's fame and making it. What was this guy's name? What was this guy's name here? Let me see here. Let me see if I can find the.
Hmm.
I'm being.
Oh,
I'm
I was like, what are
I'm
you talking?
acting. I'm being facetious. Mark
Oh,
Davidson's
I
who
didn't
I'm
catch it.
talking
Sorry.
about. This guy wanted to be famous, in my opinion, guys, so much that he didn't take a second thought to defaming Buford Pusser, Carl Pusser, Pauline Pusser, Helen Pusser, Dewana Pusser. He bought right into Mike Elam's hook, line, and sinker. He bought and he covered. He thinks, or Mike Elam thinks he's covered Mike, because when they come out, that gave Mike Elam credibility. When they come out and they said, "Oh yeah, he'd be indicted today." If he was indicted today, why was he indicted back then, Mr. Davidson?
Why didn't they do something
Why
then?
wasn't he indicted back then? See, we don't have the report, guys. We don't have the 400 report. That's mostly from what we've seen so far. All the pages that we've seen is, if you'll watch Mike Elam's videos, you'll see that that's out of his podcast or out of his book.
The thing about it is, again, this is just me. I just noticed this the other day. For somebody who doesn't like Mr. Pusser as much as Mr. Elam does, why is he on the cover of his books? So
It's jealousy, just like this. Why does this
sad.
man here mention walking tall? We're talking about. He don't even mention Pauline's name in half of these. He calls her Mullins Pusser.
Mhm.
Mullins Pusser. Do we call him E. Davison? Do we call his wife whatever her maiden name is and his last name? Who does that? Who does that? One to connect that because he knows Mullins is coming up. He knows Griffin is coming up. Guys, don't miss the video we've got coming out, or I do, on Griffin Mullins and his relationship with Buford Pusser, his brother-in-law, and his sister Pauline. Don't miss that video, and don't miss the video of Oakley Dean Baldwin and Doris Baldwin, his wife, and the story on them, because he reads an email here. Mr. Davison does. He's got an email from the Mullins family. Got some interesting videos coming, guys. These videos are not meant to go ahead and baby show just start going through
Your
anything
other
there.
pictures
Yeah,
there or whatever.
just
Yeah.
go through. I put some other stuff here, guys, just to show you. This here is, you can bring it up. This here, I don't know if this is written by Mr. Davison. I found during the Hatfield McCoy videos that we were doing on Rio Hatfield
Mhm.
concerning Hubert Bay McCoy, Rio said that his grandfather, the police chief, was shot in the back 3 times and killed. His grandfather shot and killed the guy, and he was a
Just
McCoy.
so happened to be McCoy.
Totally false. Totally false. Hubert Bay McCoy was shot in the back of the head, and
Execution.
grandfather was actually found guilty of manslaughter, voluntary manslaughter, and sentenced. But we found where Rio had was once the CEO for a company, and he'd appears to have written his own bio for that company. He says he served in the Vietnam War, never served in the Vietnam War. We called him out on that. I did. Questioned him about that, sent off Freedom Information Act, and got a copy of his military records. Was never in Vietnam, never stepped foot on Vietnam soil, was not in the Vietnam War. Later on, he tried to correct and say, well, Vietnam era. Vietnam era is not the same as Vietnam serving in the Vietnam War. You don't say that unless you step foot in Vietnam, on Vietnam soil. He was stationed in Seoul, Korea. But when I seen this bio here, I thought of the bio that Rio Hatfield had done, or appears to have done, because I questioned, I was going to call the company and ask them who wrote this bio, because a lot of times people, they let you do your own. Tell us a little bit about yourself so we can put it in the bio. I don't know that happened there. I don't know that happened here. It's been up there long enough for you to read it. It's got no signature, about like the TBI, the reports that you see coming out nowadays from so-called Warren Jones, from Could be from Mike Elam, could be from Mr. Davidson. They could be from Mr. David Roush. They could be from anybody. We don't know who they're from because nobody's put a signature. Somebody's just taken a typewriter or typewriter font from the 60s and wrote this stuff up. That's why Buford Pusser was never charged while he was alive, because he could have refuted it. He could have dispelled any kind of statements like that that's written up nowadays. He's not alive now, so nobody can go back and say, no, I didn't write that. I didn't say that. They can say anything they want now. These guys are alive and they've got power and they've got positions and they've got titles. Go to the next one.
Okay. Just a second.
So we're wondering, did Mark Davidson write that up about himself? We know that on the front of this thing here, if you'll look at the podium there, at the bottom of it, but it'll show again here in a minute, but it says Mark Davidson in front of that podium. Up here over his head back there, it shows Mark Davidson. And then in that red circle in the middle, once again, it shows Mark E. Davidson. Go ahead.
Okay.
Again, anybody out there that's psychologists, psychiatrists, you guys would know a whole lot more than me. Again, I was going on the GI Bill. You can tell by my English, my spelling, my grammar. I went to college, but I got paid to go and they paid for the college. So I probably was sucking up the GI Bill at that time because I'd earned it. That's how my college was paid for. But I was younger then and didn't pay a whole lot of attention, which you can tell. But Mark E. Davison and then Mark E. Davison. I puts their name twice on the same within a 3-foot banner. And then it's on the podium in front of where he stands.
Found that for you. I hear.
Yeah, just go right on down the line. I put several on there.
Yeah.
Just go down the line. There's your 3 stars from Tennessee flag. Mark that. Go ahead. Next one. There it is at the bottom. There it is at the top too, the banner. And there it is on the front of the podium. Guys,
there we go.
This video is not this is not a let's bash Mr. Mark Davidson. It's not. It may appear like that, may appear on his videos that he appeared to bash Buford Pusser. Do we say that? I guess you just have to use your own judgment on both of them, on this video and his. I try not to. I'm not bashing. I try to truth through proof.
Right.
And everything that I have said, I've read his statement off. I've read his news release, what they were going to discuss, that they had new evidence, that they had. There's no new evidence. There was no new evidence. In fact, the old evidence, the TBI has lost. Mr. Roush, Mr. David Roush knew, and I can only assume that Mark Davidson knew that the TBI director had presented everything to him. Surely the TBI didn't go in there to Mr. Davidson. And if he does, then Mr. Davidson should be calling for Mr. Roush's resignation right now today and saying, I was misinformed. Let's see if Mr. Davidson throws Mr. Roush under the bus. Because you can guarantee that Mr. Roush is going to throw his detectives, his investigators under the bus when it comes between him and them. He's going to say, I just stood up there at that podium. I didn't. My investigators worked this case. What do y'all think at the end of the video? He called one of the investigators up there. Very smart guy, because when he got up there, he said, you answer that question. He said, I'd advise you to see the report. He didn't put his foot in his mouth.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. They're all trying not to put their foot in their mouth. They're thinking that their suits, the badges, the titles is going to fool everybody, and nobody's ever going to ask a question. And to be honest with you, there wasn't. A lot of people wasn't asking questions. A lot of people wasn't. They are now. They are now. Rightly so. Buford Pusser was slandered, defamed, libeled, anything you can say. And it's still going on today. It's still going on today. Where does it stop? It'll stop whenever everything comes to court and everybody has their day in court and we can find out what happened to the evidence. Mr. Davison, Mr. Roush, where is the evidence? Where is the shell casings? Where is her clothing? In one of your reports you have, it says that her clothing was dirty, where
Mhm.
she was drug outside the car and shot. Where's the clothing that we can look at that would prove that? And we could say, well, see, it's gone. It's lost. No more. You have nothing. You have no more today than you did 58 years ago in 1967 when Warren Jones didn't take before a grand jury, when Mr. Abernathy asked for anything they had so he could present it to a grand jury. There was no evidence. It was rumors.
Mhm.
Mr. Abernathy says in his newspaper report,
Mhm.
nothing but rumors, unsubstantiated rumors. It was rumors then, it's rumors now. Only now you have professional, titled, badge carrying, degree carrying people that for a little bit of fame, a little bit of notoriety, a little bit of name recognition, they did the unthinkable. They did the unthinkable. There's not another prosecutor, another director, another commissioner, another police chief, another sheriff. Guys, they're just not out there. You could take this case, this to give in anybody before it was ever publicized like this, before
Mhm.
Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures came along, or Fred McCoy, anything bad, but I'm Fred. Sheila doesn't. Uh, Sheila says if we can't say something good, let's just try to stick. Guys, we can't just. Sometimes, if we say something bad, then we just got to know that it's bad. We think this is self evident. We think Mr. Davis and Mr. Rouse proved their own case when they stood up there on that podium. We think they proved their own case when they selling $400. The taxpayers of Tennessee paid for an investigation. The taxpayers paid for this investigation. And then they think it's right. Now we've done paid these investigators. We done bought their gas. We done bought their food. We done gave them expense account. We've done paid their hourly wage. We've gave them bonuses. We've gave them days off because they worked overtime. We paid for it, but now let's let the college make a little bit. Let's let the college make $400 on a report. Google, how much does a JFK report cost? How much does the Martin Luther King report cost? How much does Robert F. Kennedy report cost? How much does the Epstein case cost?
Mhm.
Google, how much does any, I haven't done this one. How much does any case, any other criminal case by any state, how much are they? How much are they?
Mm.
$400.
Interesting.
The less people that reads it, the less people that can nitpick it, the less people that can correct it, the less people that can call these people out. Not everybody's got $400 that they can't think of
Mm.
something better to spend it on than a report. I don't have to buy the report to see what I can see on Facebook and what I can see on Mike Elam's book, on his pages, on his
Mhm.
podcast. Sorry, guys, it won't go over an hour. At least it ain't gonna be over an hour. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me. She's not involved. She's beat my leg to death. I'm already injured.
You're bruised.
I'm
You'll
already
have a
injured,
well
and I
healed.
thank her. And I thank her for that.
Yeah.
Guys, these guys may be some of the most incredible fellas you've ever met in your life. Mr. Davis and Mr. Rouse, Mr. ever who they are, the investigators. They may be outstanding in their personal. See, I can't say that. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm a person that's I don't beat around the bush. I was going to
Well,
say that,
thank
try
you.
to smooth it over and try to. I wouldn't trust these guys as far as I could throw them personally. Personally, I wouldn't trust them as far anybody that would do this. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We hope you're doing well. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye. God bless.